Hi, welcome in for this scrying session, water scrying session for the collective today. This is the first scrying session in water that I've done for my channel. I'm really excited. I've had this cast iron Dutch oven for quite some time now, but I had a Japanese glass float at one time, but somewhere along the line I lost it, and I didn't want to start doing these sort of cauldron type water scrying sessions until I had another one. This is a very beautiful one that was found up around the Olympic Peninsula on the coast. The one I had before was found on the Oregon coast, so I really like that it's had a long journey through the ocean and can kind of lend its scrying strength to this sort of cauldron-like pot of water. So if you're here and you've been drawn in to this layout, or it's not a layout actually, although I think I'm going to pull some cards when I'm done here. If you're new, welcome. My name is Cynthia. I typically do card layouts, but I also do a lot of scrying on this channel into an obsidian mirror, into a crystal ball. I haven't done any fire scrying yet, although sometimes that's a part of my crystal ball gazing that I do. Fire is an element that's active in that gaze usually. And so I'm also a licensed clinical social worker in private practice, but I've been drawn to the esoteric for much of my life. I've been reading cards since I was 15. And so I kind of exist in both worlds. And I guess, oh, that's another thing too. There's a northern flicker that's seeking his mate right now where I live, and I have a metal roof, and he may end up hammering on the roof at some point during this session. He was doing that yesterday during my card reading. I like it, but it will sound kind of intense. If he decides to do it, it's pretty loud, but just don't be alarmed. I happen to appreciate the noise, but I know it can be a little bit startling initially, especially when you first hear it. So if you are here and you want to, just go ahead and gaze into the water with me, and we'll just see what comes out for the collective. And I hope you're doing well out there. I know there's a lot of chaos in the world right now. We'll just see what comes through the water, and then I think I'll pull some cards at the end too as well. So I'm seeing the Pleiades cluster of stars. Those have a lot of meaning for people. A lot of people resonate with those. And that cluster of stars has some of the oldest oral tradition and oral mythology around it in human history. So some of those stories might have meaning for you. I'm hearing cancer patient. Somebody might be going through the treatment process for that. Or have a loved one. There's kind of like a rainbow over them, or a golden arc of, I don't know if you want to call that like the divine golden light or the divine white light, but you're being witnessed, or if you're the loved one of that patient, there's some type of witnessing from whatever you call God, the higher realms, that you're being cherished and loved and witnessed for the difficulty of going through that treatment. There's something about a triangle. It's coming through kind of to me like the Bermuda Triangle. But it's interesting because now the points of the triangle are showing me like higher realms beings again, like winged beings. Blue avians are coming through. So something about blue avians resonates with you. And something about the Bermuda Triangle. That's that place in the off the islands in the Atlantic coast, I think is where it is, where there's just a lot of mysterious portal-like energy disappearances and things. That might have resonance for you, or you might have a personal connection to the Bermuda Triangle or to blue avians. Now I'm seeing an owl. Owls have been coming through a lot in the last month in my divination and layouts, both personally and on the channel. Owls can be an omen of death. So that's important to know. Death is a natural part of this existence on the earth plane. It's not necessarily something that should feel bad and ominous, but it often does. You know, we don't know. It creates a lot of fear in people, the concept of death. But if you follow tarot, you know that the death card can often be just like a dying to yourself before you're reborn in a new version, or in a version that's more ascended. So that could be in play for someone. You might be going through a spiritual death. I'm seeing that famous drawing by Da Vinci. It starts with a V. Vesuvian Man, the one where his arms are sort of coming up, and he almost looks like a. It's interesting. I never thought about this until this moment, but one of the many armed gods of the Hindu pantheon, Vesuvian Man, I think it is. Yeah, and now I'm seeing like a Brahma or Vishnu, a Brahmin with a gold crown. I'm seeing somebody really beautifully adorned, like with a some kind of a. Oh wow! Oh my gosh! Okay. So it's the Virgin of Guadalupe is who I'm seeing. She has a. I think it's called manantial, but I can't remember the Spanish name for her gowns. But they're very celestial. They have stars all over them. She's represented with stars. Her story is very beautiful and very unifying. She's the virgin that I most resonate with. And they've done work on the original image that presented on Juan Diego's burlap shirt, I guess, that he was wearing. And there's a lot of amazing discovery that they did when they did kind of scientific, like in looking into her ocular representation of her eyes. It's just a lot of really interesting work that's been done around that. The original image as it appeared on his burlap shirt hangs in the Basilica in Mexico City. So you might be somebody that really resonates with her. She's just a really, really beautiful, comforting, sweet, ascended master, right? I'm seeing a rabbit. And now I'm seeing a pufferfish. Those are poison fish. And their poison is actually used in magic of the islands, right? And I think even in on the Gulf Coast. Okay, I'm seeing an alien, but the alien is showing itself like a mantis. I've heard other people talk about that before, that there are mantids that are somehow connected to the praying mantis on this planet. I don't know what you think about that. I have a praying mantis tattoo because I've always loved them since I was a kid. I've just thought they were amazing looking creatures. It's the first tattoo I ever got as soon as I turned 18. But yeah, I'm not necessarily someone that does a lot of work around cryptids and alien type work, but that's coming through here. So there might be people in this group that resonate with those. And if we're speaking about something like the Bermuda Triangle, which is like a sort of portal type area or energy, right? A lot of people believe that cryptids come and go on this plane through portals. Ooh, I'm seeing a really beautiful skull, like a beaded skull. Gosh, that is gorgeous. And then a ceremonial mask. It's becoming a ceremonial mask. And now I'm seeing some kind of a primate, a very friendly, gentle primate. And again, it's showing beaded, like this primate has a beaded face, like pearls for teeth. Really cool. Wow. I'm hearing Shokure, which is a character or a kanji of Reiki, which is a healing energy. So Reiki wanted to be acknowledged here. Or I don't know if that's the right way to put that, actually. Suggested that it be acknowledged as a healing presence, right? To remember that, or if you need that kind of healing, it's always with us. Reiki's a very generous, healing, conscious spirit energy, right? Now I'm seeing one of those old maps from classrooms. I don't know if they're still in use. When I was growing up, they were the kind that you would pull down. They rolled up and were hung on the wall and you'd pull it down. I'm seeing one of those, so somebody might resonate with that either as a school teacher or a student. travel. The oceans might be represented in that through this scrying work here. This isn't a big stretch. You can probably see this too, but I'm being shown like a pool of water with an oil slick on it, how the oil will kind of look iridescent in the sun. But also it's making me think of the oil spill in the ocean. So there's some type of sorrowful energy around that, about witnessing the health of the planet and the oceans as a living, water's a living entity as well, a living conscious entity. And it's wanting to be witnessed here for the destruction of the oceans, or not the destruction, but the impact that we're having, right? Ultimately, I personally believe that the planet will rid itself of us before we destroy the planet. But, that's not to say that we don't have a responsibility. I'm not here to preach, though. I'm here to just do this scrying work. Yeah, now holy fire is coming through. Holy fire is a type of Reiki attunement, but it's also holy fire. I mean, holy fire exists all the way going back to the Zoroastrians, right? They keep a sacred flame. I'm hearing the word Chandar. I don't know what that means. Chandar. I knew someone once named Chandar. I'm hearing Chandar though, like CH, a hard Chandar. I'll have to look that up. I'm hearing the word amalgamation, which again, I don't know what that means. I think it means some kind of a configuration or a coming together of ideas or things, but I honestly don't know. Amalgamation though, so Chandar, amalgamation. I'm seeing some prayer beads and a bonfire or some kind of fire. So that's a message for someone, is what it's feeling like to me, that some of your peace and your comfort is going to be by going outside and having a fire and having your prayer beads with you for prayer. That's interesting too, because I just ordered myself a decade rosary, which is a smaller version of the main length of a rosary out of rose beads, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's a custom thing that an artist is making that works down in Louisiana. I'm really excited to get it because I've been feeling called to pray to St. Francis, which is, I'm not Catholic. I wasn't raised Catholic. I'm not baptized Catholic. But I love prayer beads, and I love St. Francis, right? So I've been, and now that the Virgin of Guadalupe came through, I might use them to pray to her as well. So being called to prayer, many in this collective here might be being called to prayer. I'm personally being called to St. Francis because of his love of the animals, particularly. Ooh, I'm seeing Kilauea, which is really cool. It's erupting right now. I have a friend that just came back from visiting. It's very oceanic, right? On the Hawaiian Islands, which are small compared to the ocean that they exist within, but Kilauea is mighty, right? And there's a goddess associated with the Hawaiian volcanoes called Pele, a goddess. Did I say god? I meant goddess. There's a song from Rocky Horror Picture Show coming through. Let's do the time warp again. Yeah, now I'm seeing something about the blue avians and the Bermuda Triangle keeps coming through. I don't know what that is. Maybe because there's been a lot of recorded UFO sightings lately, like that are even being acknowledged by government officials. And I'm wondering if that, I don't know if any of them are occurring at the at the Bermuda Triangle, but maybe there's something to that, right? That's got an involvement in some way. I just love, not that I'm going to dictate it, but I love this point here on the floats, right? I think they're so beautiful. Beautiful works of art, too, in addition to functional. This is how my teacher taught scrying in water. She had a cast iron cauldron with a float in it too, and I just thought you couldn't be more perfect way to water gaze. So this is something that I emulated from her work. Yeah, stargazing is really coming through again. The celestial bodies and stargazing. There might be medicine for us in gazing to the stars right now. Especially if you can go somewhere with less light pollution, where a lot more of the stars come through. It's very healing. Yeah, and the way this is moving right now is striking me as celestial, the way the planets rotate around the sun. And now I'm hearing a song, I think it's by Diana Ross, maybe. Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know? I don't remember who sings that. But that's striking me as something that has a tender memory for someone with that song. I don't know if it's something that reminds you of someone or a special relationship that you have. This is like a confirmation, maybe, that person's with you or watching over you. Yeah, that's channeled. Now I'm seeing a frog, a little frog face. And I'm seeing those sad clown paintings too, the kind that I feel like there's a story around those, like an urban legend maybe or something. The sad crying clown face as being, there's a story about those paintings, that they're haunted, or that I wish I could remember. Or it actually might not be a clown, it might be a crying child, like one of those really large-eyed crying children, almost like a figurine type thing that used to be really popular in the 70s. But I feel like there's one of those, or even just the copies that are made of them that's haunted or something like that. You might know. If you know, let me know in the comments. I have a lot to follow up here on about looking up what they mean. I mean, John Wayne Gacy painted clowns, which is disturbing. That's not really it, although there's kind of maybe a smaller group of people that has relevance for, if you follow true crime maybe or something. But the bigger one is that's the haunted painting of either a child or a child dressed as a clown or something like that. I don't know. Someone might be interested in that kind of thing, right? Like, it strikes me as somebody that might watch like Psychic Kids, that show with Chip Coffey, the psychic medium. I like that show. There might be something to that for someone in here. It has meaning. Or you might actually have a connection to the artist of that painting. I feel like I've watched a series about it, or it was on one of those types of shows, like Haunted America or something like that, right? Like, someone might have an actual connection to the artist of that painting, is kind of what I'm feeling. I'm seeing clouds, like the clouds of the card from the Lenormand deck that are indicating someone feeling a little bit confused or lost. Let me see what else about that with those clouds. Yeah, there's like a double vision. You might be actually literally dealing with a head injury, and it's impacting your vision and it's causing you confusion. Like a concussion, someone dealing with a concussion and recovery from a concussion. This is confirmation for that. It might have been a really close call. That's what I'm feeling. Like you had a really close call with this. It might have almost killed you. It's just really, what I'm feeling is your frustration and your sadness, and it's important to try to be gentle with yourself. That's the big message that I'm feeling emotionally in my heart, is that you really have to be gentle with yourself, okay? You've sustained a major injury, and you're going to have to really, really tend to the part of you that's still in you that feels scared. There's like a scared part of you that is still stuck maybe back in where you sustained the head injury, like a trauma process. You got to really be gentle with yourself. That's just what it keeps saying. Yeah, the color blue is really big. There's a lot of, I'm seeing a navy blue, like beautiful navy blue circle, like the throat chakra. Okay, I'm just going to say it and not fight it. It's just strange to me that it just is coming through so much lately. Do Fries Go With That Shake by George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic. It's been coming through literally like every single reading that I do, even personally. I don't know what it is about that song. It doesn't strike me as a highly spiritual song, but he is a highly spiritual musician. I mean, he does amazing work. Maggot Brain comes to mind. The cover of that album's really amazing with that woman just screaming in joy, kind of, is what it looks like to me. Maybe she's not screaming, but that's what it came through as just now. And she's got the whole galaxy behind her. So he's very cosmic. And Parliament Funkadelic was really cosmic, Afrofuturist, right? So I don't know, that Afrofuturism might have meaning here. I don't know why it keeps coming through with that song in particular, but it does. So I'm going to not fight it and just say it. It's just like literally every time I sit down to meditate, there's something coming through. Really, maybe I need to go back and reread the lyrics or watch the video again or something. There might be a message in it for me too. I mean, it's a light, we have to find joy right now. That's a big part of it, maybe. That's kind of just a hit that I just got on it. It's very joyful. And so there might be something about needing to remember to connect with joy in these times because they're frightening and uncertain. I don't know. Yeah, oh, now I'm seeing a slinky. Someone might be Gen X here. I'm Gen X, so I have a lot of good memories about slinkies and the commercials for slinkies. And if you don't know what a slinky is, it's a coiled toy, really. The coils stack on each other really nicely. So then they'll do things like go down the stairs. There's even a song that I could sing, but I'm not going to, that goes with it. But slinkies have meaning. They make me feel great. I like that Slinky showed up here, actually. That's a great memory. Okay, is there anything else before I end this? And then I'll go ahead and pull some cards for us. I mean, a slinky's a joyful memory for most people, so joy is a big theme. And that's the same time frame. That song came out around that era. And that was a time where there were echoes of, a lot of people down and out financially. There was a pretty big recession in the late 70s, early 80s. There was also a homelessness crisis then. There was a big emphasis on materialism and just capitalism and stuff. And there might be something to that, like that there's a coming around again, a second time around for that we're facing similar. I feel like this time it's worse, but I don't know. There might be some message in there for that, especially for people from the United States. Now I'm seeing the constellation of Orion. Okay, yeah, I think that's all for this. So I'll go ahead and move this aside here and pull a couple cards for us before I end. It's going to be, there's some good messages here. Heaven's Door. Wow. So we have someone who's going through a dying process. Just, it's coming through now, especially with this card. When I got that cancer patient, you or someone you love may be on hospice care. There's a big message here for you that you're being witnessed and comforting energy is being sent to you. Maybe you have loved ones that are going to meet you on the other side. And I just have goosebumps. oftentimes the dying person will begin seeing those loved ones who've already crossed over. Like they'll tell their care providers and caretakers, like, I saw my husband last night. He was sitting at the edge of my bed. And that's, you know, if you're working in hospice, that kind of thing is really common to hear. And it's nice. And it's an idea of comfort that our loved ones are ready and waiting to help us make the transition to the next life and to the afterlife. So be comforted if this is you, or if you are currently giving care to your loved one who's dying and on hospice care. Oops, here's a random card. Impregnation, abundance, fertility. So that's interesting, because that almost strikes me as like life and death being in a perpetual motion, right? Of living and dying and living and dying. There's a song about that. The band Live does, I think, where as his wife is giving birth in one room in the hospital, a couple doors down, someone's crossing over, right? So there's something like that. I have chills again. Blend in, shapeshifter. It's okay to allow your life to change, and it's okay to go quiet for a while and blend in, right? Apart from this Major's deck here. And that shapeshifter energy is coming through again about the crossing over. You really are changing form. Even if you don't believe in God, energy is energy, and energy never dies. And so it just changes form, right? The Hermit. And the Magician. Wow. Those are two powerful archetypes, right? Going within has brought you and will continue to bring you into connection with your power of creation and co-creation, right? Knowing when to go quiet, knowing when to be active. Very beautiful, really beautiful. And here's the sacred fire is what it's striking me as in this. Following your own light, following the light within. Really beautiful. I'll pull one of these cards too to represent the stars. This is an astrology-based deck here. So this is a Medusa head, clearly, on this 10 degrees of Taurus card. And then we have the south node here is the one that came up. This is the north and south node. So let's see what the book says. remember what the words are for the south node, but the south node is your shadow, right? So your shadow might need some attention. You don't want to be living entirely out of your shadow. Ideally, in this life on the earth plane, you want to try to integrate and help your shadow feel part of you, right? Not rejected and not shunned, but integrated in a healthy way into your life's purpose. So that's coming through just channeled. I'm going to read 10 degrees of Taurus because it's right here. This mane of live serpents, his eyes which petrify all that come under his gaze. This monster represents jealousy and hatred. This card denotes overconfidence, which results in wrong action and difficulties. And here's that south node here. That's something we need to really watch for. And we were just talking about kind of the intensity and the darkness in the world where money is driving people into really frantic and fearful places, and highlighting the fact that we're in a place of not having a lot of power when it comes to the world markets, and a intense ruler type dude coming in and just turning everything upside down. I'm not saying that's good or bad necessarily, although I'm not a supporter of his by any means. It's very south node energy, and it's easy to get into being fearful and then being embattled with others versus unifying. So let's just keep going here. In its unconscious onward progress up to the point where the consultant is brought to a dead stop, unable to go forward or step backward. It is stoppage, stagnation, deadlock. It represents duality. It often indicates a spiteful and jealous rival over whom the consultant can triumph if she acts wisely. It is the card of transformation into evil. So this is, you have your ability to either face this aspect of yourself or else face it in a rival that's operating in their south node. And by you having done the work to transmute your south node and exist in the duality of the light and dark within you, you can defeat someone like an enemy who only has the access to their south node. That's coming through channeled. I'm going to see what it says about the north node, or sorry, the south node, though. I want to read that. I can't remember where it's at, though. Okay, here it is. In the greenish night, scarcely illuminated by the pale crescent of the waning moon, a shapeless monster of serpentine form sinks deeper and deeper in an unwholesome and miry substance. This card turns towards the dragon tail, indicates hidden and mysterious things from which escape is difficult. It represents worries and troubles of every kind. It is the sign of a chronic or languid illness, and it's not helpful for the emotions. So this is two images of serpent energy, and we're in the year of the snake, but this strikes me in the unhealed poison version of a serpent, right? And what we're striving for is an integration into the healing aspect of the serpent, because the serpent is also a symbol of healing. And you can even see that right here in the formation of this central column of this Medusa head. It can become the caduceus, right? If you've integrated this, that's really powerful. And in fact, this is my Cobra sigil. That's a personal sigil of mine. So there's something to that, right? I am going to pull one more card now because I'm a little bit curious about this. What's a plant medicine that can help with that? What's an earth-based plant medicine? This is also very water-based. It strikes me as the pool that we just gazed into to some degree, right? And I kind of had a vision like this with the stars behind this being a minute ago. That was the cover of Maggot Brain, but that was a really triumphant. Her face is not this evil face, right? She's a triumphant face, but it's similar. If you go look at the cover of Maggot Brain, yeah, it's super interesting. What's a message from the plants for us for this energy? Life and death, north and south node. Shape-shifting like a snake. A snake is definitely a shapeshifter. The Hermit and the Magician. So that's a tightrope. Again, the Magician is often having to check their motives pretty regularly, that they don't fall into shadow, right? Elecampane. Ooh, it looks like a lung medicine, that's for sure. Let's see what Elecampane's message is for us. Card 17. The Moving River. I love it. So water-based. Elecampane is the bright sun, the fortifier, the perimeter walker, the wind in a stuffy room. Elecampane has an amazing affinity with the human lungs, the home to our most intimate bodily interface with the world. So true. Asking the question, what is me and what is not me? Our lungs navigate how to draw in what we need to make every cell in our bodies function, without letting in the dangers and pollutants that cause us harm. Elecampane is the ally that shines a light onto what we need and has the capacity to expel what we do not. The lungs are also the house of our grief. Our breath reflects the current nature of our love, family, and sense of belonging. If these elements in life feel clear and secure, we inhale with strength and confidence and are far more willing to take risks and challenge ourselves to grow. Elecampane is an ally if you feel yourself torn between worlds. Boy, we've just talked about that. Shape-shifting, the north and south node, right? Not quite fitting in or struggling to be seen in your most authentic self. Elecampane can help center your heart and your body, your actions during a transition, or in a moment when you simply feel unseen or misperceived. A plant with a long history of use for protection and finding love, Elecampane is an ally if you wonder where you belong and how to arrive there safely. Elecampane will aid you in purging the fears, decay, muck, and debris that can build up inside when we are not able to fully express ourselves. This is beautiful. When the rivers of our breath are running smoothly again, we can walk out into the sun and proclaim ourselves to the world with pride. We can be at home and we can fall in love. Really amazing. That's a great place to end this reading. So I hope you enjoy this water scrying. I'm planning to do more. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for being here, and take good care.